Hi everyone, welcome to the introductory lecture for 1101 for Florida Gateway College Summer A. This one is meant to just sort of take you through the Blackboard site and give you a little bit of a background on the policies in the syllabus. You are responsible for reading the entire syllabus in detail and taking a quiz on it. It's very important that you understand all of the policies in the syllabus because that will become the ruling document for our course. It's very important, therefore, that you know how I'm going to run the course and what my expectations of you are. But for those of you that may be new to Blackboard, it's a little bit new for all of us. They've upgraded it again, which is great, but it changes some of the appearance. So if you are looking at the front page of Blackboard as we enter our course, which you would have had to do in order to access this lecture, you'll see announcements page. You'll want to check in frequently. If it's a really important announcement, I will email it to you as well, but it's important that you be checking in, especially during the summer, every day. I wanted to show you this left-hand side. There are a few things that you need to know and need to feel familiar with. The first is the course information tab. This is where everything for our course, all of the assignments, all the assignment sheets, all of the assignment links, everything is located. You'll see that you have a folder for every week, and the weeks are dated, so there should be no confusion about what week we're on. The weeks begin on Monday. That's when classes started. So Monday, May 14th was the first day of our class, and so you'll see that week 1 begins on May 14th, week 2 begins on May 21st, etc., etc. Week 6, which is the last week of our class, ends on a Thursday. That week is a little bit different, which I mention in the syllabus. And then you'll see a week 7 here is where the final exam will be posted, which will take place over the final weekend of week 6. So that's not entirely accurate, but nevertheless, the important thing is that the final exam will be included in that folder when the time comes. Alright, so when you click on one of these folders, you'll see probably an overwhelming amount of information. If it would open for me, that would be super. Everything is listed there, so you'll have links to files, links to assignments, links to assignment sheets. All of these things will be listed. So here's week 1. The first thing is the syllabus, which you should have downloaded and printed out, or at least skimmed over before you did this. We have 2 calendars. The first calendar is for May. This is a due date calendar. It shows you everything that is due either on the Wednesday or the Sunday of each week, and we'll go over that in a minute. And then you have your readings and some assignment prompts. It looks like a lot because it is a lot. Because this is a 6-week course, you have a lot to accomplish every week. That's why due dates are broken up into Wednesdays and Sundays so that you're not overwhelmed by everything that's due at the end of the week. I strongly, strongly encourage you to not let yourself get behind. It's hard when you have things due on Wednesday and Sunday, but it can happen. You can procrastinate, and that's going to be really, really tough on you if you do that. So I really encourage you to be working ahead if you can, and to be very aware of everything that needs to be done. So you'll see down here at the bottom, practice paragraphs, thesis outline, grammar practice 1. Those are the assignment links where you will submit your work. All right, we're going to go over that in a little bit more detail, but not a whole lot more detail because it's in a lot of detail on the syllabus. But the next thing that I wanted to show you is the discussion board. Again, if it will open for me, that'd be super. And if it doesn't open, that's fine. The discussion board is where some of your assignments will be. So if it says DB, that's discussion board, and you'll want to head over there, and that's where your assignment prompt will be, and that's where you will submit your assignment. That's the only exception, with possibly one other exception where I ask you to email me, but everything else is submitted on Blackboard. All right, it's not wanting to be cooperative, so let's just go to the syllabus. All right, this is our syllabus. Lots of, course descriptions, institutional policies, and then you get to my policies, the course-specific policies and my instructor policies. In general, I just want to say this up front, online courses require a lot of personal responsibility and self-direction. It's an independent kind of course. You are, of course, welcome to email me with questions, but I ask that you do your legwork first. I post a lot of information. I will frequently post well, there will be lectures that will be posted, and there will be guidelines that will be posted. It's your responsibility to read and view all of those before you come to me with a question, because most of the time I'm anticipating those questions. But here are a few sort of guidelines. I'm not going to remind you about due dates. I'm not going to hunt you down if you don't submit something. I'm not your mom. I'm a mom of someone else. So I have my hands full being a 1-year-old's mom. I don't need to be your mom. So I'm not going to hunt you down. This is college. Even if you're not yet college age, even if you're taking this as a dual enrollment, I'm expecting you to be a responsible college student, and that means that you keep track of your due dates and you keep track of when things are due and you submit them on time. That's my basic expectation of you. All right, so a few common questions and concerns. How do I contact you? You email me. Email me first. If we need to chat, I have Skype, and I can do an office hour with you via Skype, and we will just arrange a time. Because summer is so crazy for everyone, those office hours aren't set in stone. We'll just negotiate what time will work best for us. When you contact me, there are a few guidelines that I ask you to follow. So they are listed here on the syllabus. Specifically, make sure that you're asking a specific question and that your name and section number are in your email. I teach multiple classes even during the summer, so I get lots of email from lots of different people, so it helps me if you tell me who you are. You'll see what we will be doing in the course, and the points breakdown. The total amount of points for the semester is 1,000 points. So your final course grade is listed there. That's how it will be broken down at the end of the 6 weeks. All right, just showed you how to access course assignments. How do we know when our assignments are due? Again, you have the course calendar that are the PDF files that are listed underneath the course syllabus in week 1, but you also have a course schedule at the end of this syllabus. How do you turn in your work? You turn in using the Blackboard assignment links that I just showed you. One thing to note is those links are time sensitive, so you'll see them they are all open with the exception of quizzes now, but they will disappear once the due date has passed. So once that Wednesday at 11:59 or once that Sunday at 11:59 has passed, you will no longer see those links. That means that you have missed the due date. That means that you have missed the assignment. With the exception of the quizzes, which only open during the week that they're assigned, and so that may mean that they're only open for a 3-day window, or it may mean that they're open for a 7-day window, depending on when the quiz is due, you're welcome to work ahead. I would encourage you not to work on week 6 in week 1, because hopefully you will have learned some things, but things like grammar practice or discussion boards or whatever assignments that you think that you can accomplish ahead of time, feel free to do that. There's no penalty for doing things ahead. Feel free to do that. Late work policy. I will not accept any late work unless you have gotten it approved through me. And what does that mean? That means that you are required to contact me before the due date to discuss a late submission. Your email has to be date and time stamped before that due date in order for me to consider it a contact before the due date. I don't have to have responded to you by then, so if you email me at 11:30 at night, I'm more than likely asleep and not checking email. That's not always true, but most of the time is true. So, you don't have to have received a response from me in order for that to be true. However, if the date has passed and you have not contacted me before that due date has passed, and I really mean the 11:59 on Wednesday, 11:59 on Sunday, then you're not allowed to submit that work. Work that is emailed late without prior submission approval, I'll just delete it. Okay? I'm really serious about this. I hope you get that. Really serious about this. I don't accept late work. It's your responsibility to get it in on time. If something happens, you should know that before the due date. You should know that something has happened. It's your responsibility to contact me. Go to Starbucks, go to wherever, go to a friend's house, use your phone, whatever. You need to email me and let me know what's happening. I've given you 2 email addresses. One is a Florida Gateway one is a Gmail one. So you should be able to access that email from anywhere. If you can't access your Florida Gateway email, you're welcome to email me from your Gmail, from your Hotmail, from your Yahoo, whatever, just to get in contact with me. It's your responsibility. This class is your responsibility, and you need to show that. All right. Your work will be received and graded as soon as I can. You can check to see if it has been received in the gradebook. If you see a green exclamation point, it means that your work has been submitted. If you see a dash, it means nothing has been submitted. So if you thought that you submitted something and your internet went haywire and the dash is there, it means that you haven't and you need to do it again. This is another reason why you don't want to procrastinate turning in your work at 11:58, because if something does happen and you need to resubmit, you don't have that option. The link has gone away. So you need to really plan ahead. Okay. What do you do if you need help? As I mentioned, don't suffer in silence. You need to ask questions. It really bothers me when students 3 or 4 weeks into a class, and I'm talking about like a 12-week class, but so for you that would be like a week into the class, are just totally floundering and haven't said a single thing to me. Okay, if you're totally lost, you need to let me know. But you also need to do your independent work. So you need to make sure that you have read everything that I posted. You need to watch every lecture. You need to follow the directions carefully. Make sure that you understand what's being asked of you. All right, here's the course schedule. It has it broken down into readings and assignments for each week. Next to the assignments is the date that it is due. So these 3 things are due on Wednesday, these 2 things are due on Sunday of the first week, and that's at 11:59 p.m. Okay, so Wednesday at 11:59 or Sunday at 11:59, and that will be reflected on the course calendar as well. So that's just a sort of really basic rundown of important policies and important elements of the Blackboard site. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, I would just strongly encourage you to read this syllabus really carefully several times and just navigate your way through the Blackboard site. It will help you if you just sort of get some experiential learning. Looking forward to this semester, and I will talk to you later.